Hey everybody, it's Party Elite. Welcome you back to another live streamed session of our Suzerain DESPOT playthrough. Hope you all have had a wonderful week behind you. Hope you're excited for the weekend ahead. And I hope you're excited for whatever madness will come today. I see right away he's saying that he will join us later, which means for the first 45 minutes of today's session, we get to be good people maybe. I joke, obviously. We play as despots, and last session saw the assassination of what would be one of our political rivals throughout our career, directly or indirectly. And while last time we played that very differently, attending the funeral, giving a nice speech, you know, singing a poem and all that kind of stuff, this time around things will play pretty differently, and that'll be right off the bat with today's session. So it's going to be interesting to see just how different things play out. But folks, first and foremost, just want to give a warm welcome to all of y'all hanging out in chat. We got Lucas Larson, we have Natalie P, Aces Above, Jazzy B. We have with us Ted Knight as well as PogChamp 2069, Saketh, Wickles, K Percy, Purple Wolfie 69, Evilo Zlatkov. How's it going, y'all? How is it going? Hannibal OP, hey buddy. Yeah, I'm just pulling your leg, Ease. I'm just pulling your leg. Laying line, how goes? Muhammad Al Kayat. How fares? Sweden playing Euros. That's fair, Ease. It's the second half, I assume, right? The first half was boring. Yeah, I thought I saw you mention that in the Discord. On which note, folks, again, if you're not in the Discord already, don't hesitate to join the Discord. By the way, Ease, should we set up a channel for that, do you think? For, like, match spoilers and stuff? There's a couple games this weekend that I'm going to try and catch, actually. I always wonder. Normally we do one for the World Cup, but I wonder if it's not a bad idea to do one for... We'll just keep one for all time, I guess. Marcus, how's it going, buddy? Thor, glad you can make it. Oh no, the flu. Oh damn, dude, I'm sorry to hear that, man. How bad is it? Is it as they call it, the quote-unquote man flu? Down and out completely? Hope you feel better soon, buddy. That is not a pleasant thing to be dealing with. Oh my god, Ivalo, go to the funeral just to dab on his grave. I don't think that's an option that comes up. Laying land, I'm doing well. How is everybody doing? Apart from, obviously, Thor in bed with the flu. That's sorry to hear that, man. I just hope it turns around for you before the weekend kicks in full gear, you know. Doing all right, Marcus. Doing all right, thank you. All right, let's dive in. Let's hit that resume button. Let's dive on in and see what problems await. It's gonna be oh man, it's always interesting just trying to figure out what might come up, because it's pretty. What's been really cool so far, for, like, in my opinion at least, is that our right-hand men, so to speak, I guess they're both on the right hand, both our vice president and our chief strategist align with us, right? Like, they are in support of everything that we've promised and everything, and of course it makes sense, you know, so that these key characters can help the player through their through enact their will and stuff, but it's just interesting to see how they speak and how they act and how they behave when we've taken some of the decisions we've taken versus the decisions we took last time around. With regards to what's happened last session, very quickly, very briefly. So yes, Bernard Circus, a political figure known for his communist leanings, not just communist leanings, but leadership, really. His poetry and writing and all that. He was assassinated at the end of the previous session. So the repercussions of that will certainly be coming up. Apart from that, though, in more positive news, so I suppose our reign would see that assassination as positive news, potentially, or just like, you know, yeah, whatever. You know, this is what happens. Go red, go dead, or some nonsense like that, right? I'm sure he'd come up with some rhyming scheme for it. But the other thing we did was we opted for the railway infrastructure project as opposed to the highway infrastructure project. This should help our businesses more, and again, we are trying to stay focused on businesses, because the richer the elite 1%, as it were, are in Sordland, the more money they have to line my pockets with when they need some favors, right? So we're focused on those guys. We also invested in Arcasian business. They have this strange technology they're working on, pocket radios. It'll never work, but, you know, it's fun to gamble with your money every once in a while when you have so much, right? So we threw some money into that. Not all of our money, but just a little bit of money into that. It'll hopefully pay its returns. I don't know if it's dice-based, but it'll hopefully pay its returns. And beyond that as well, I became a bit more solidified or concrete in what kind of a character this reign is. I find whenever you're like role playing, right, a lot of the times the first couple of times you get into character, you're still a little uncertain about certain aspects. Like something will come up and you'll be like, well, how do I feel about that? And then you make a decision, and that helps you kind of build that character a bit more. So I think for all the kind of back and forth we've had over the last couple of sessions, I think ultimately this reign is going to be so nationalist, but also he's going to be a bit of a traditionalist. Like he holds on to the old values, and that came to mind when that question came up about Monica wanting to push for women's rights. And I think our response was as long as the responsibility to the husband and family isn't forgotten, right? So like traditional family values and that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking that's what we'll lean towards. So when those conversations come up, now we have a bit of a compass to follow, with regards to how we should approach those conversations, right? Let me know what y'all think about that in chat. But that's kind of where my head's at. That's where my head's at. I respect a YouTuber who watches the Euros. Yeah, man. It used to be my religion back in the day, and then I'm in a time zone now that doesn't always work out, and life got busy. It's unfortunate. The time zone is the biggest struggle, unfortunately, typically. But hey, I think isn't the next World Cup, well, not the next World Cup, but the World Cup after that going to be in North America, I thought? So that'll be nice at least. Sounds good, Ease. Enjoy, and good luck. When did the president get us? It's a cigar, actually. It's a cigar. This is our new playthrough ABK filming we got to customize, and we decided to come in with a cigar this time around, and a beard, big old beard, as voted by the people. Oh, gotcha. Sounds good, Healthor. Well, I do hope you bounce back quickly, man. Not a good feeling. Purple Wolfie, smash that like button. Yeah, good point, folks. Again, if you are enjoying this series, if you're enjoying just hanging out for the live streams, then don't hesitate to hit that like button and let me know. It does make a very big difference in just letting me know what people want to see or don't want to see on the channel. Rhetoric Club, hey, how's it going? Fizz George, hey, glad you can make it, buddy. If Party gets his goals with women's right, he might get the achievement divorce. Wow, there's actually achievement for that. Nice. I mean, again, we'll see what happens, right? We don't want to be mean to our family or anything like that. We just believe in traditional family values, and some relationships grow apart when some people change and some people don't, and that might be what ends up happening with Monica. Yes, Saketh. Yeah, I meant the one after that one, Saketh. God, I can't believe that one's still happening. A fitting end for a despot. Wait, where? Oh, I see. No. We were in a despot the last time around. All right, what's going on over here? Emergency meeting, situation room at the Maroon Palace. So, of course, this is as a result of that literal assassination that happened, 100 feet from where I was standing. The mood in the situation room was gloomy. My cabinet members were gathered to discuss the shooting outside the palace. Liz presented the initial report. Bernard Circus was shot dead at 9:03 p.m. in front of the palace gates. He was an elected independent member of Assembly, and as you know, a famous communist. She spat the last words out with some distaste. The guards at the scene were 50 meters away and immediately took action by responding and killing the assailant, who was identified as the member of the nationalist organization, Young Swords. The president and his family were unharmed, praise God. Lucas Burrell, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show, buddy. If you are, you know what to do. Let me know down below. Yeah, good point, Natalie. I was attracted to Monica because of her diligence, so tradition works. Yeah, that's a good point. It's I was wondering about if it reconciles with our initial decisions, and I guess so. AVK filming, no, there is no space race. Though I mean, there might be an arms race with this playthrough. I don't know. Is that actually an option? The Gaminator, crown, be crowned king. Just taking a look over here real quick. Yeah, exactly, Saketh, yeah. But no, there is not a space race. Aces above, no. It's just a little too early for that, I think. There's no mention of space exploration either for the superpowers. Okay, so an MP shot near the palace is absolutely unacceptable. What were the motivations? But why Bernard? So I wasn't the target. I wasn't the target. Fortunately, yes. You were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. Our security forces have no reason to believe anybody has motivations to act against the president of Sordland for now. For now. That's a weird way to end that sentence, Lilius. Okay. Our investigators are suspecting a political assassination since the young swords have been threatening the communists for some time. This sets a dangerous atmosphere where the left versus right political violence of the 1920s might spark once again. A return to those days would be devastating. The coups are the reason why our country stagnated for a decade. Niamorgna, the Minister of Justice, sighed. The Red Youth has condemned the killing, but didn't stop there. They promised revenge. This will in turn spark further aggression from the young swords. The whole cycle started because Bernard Circus expressed his views. We can't simply look away. Nia had always been one of the only members of the Justice Ministry truly deserving of the name. She had survived countless attacks on her character while fighting corruption within the ministry, and rising to power had only compounded her sense of moral duty. Oh no, she's going to be a problem for this run. He's going to be a problem for this run. Yeah, Vilo, basically. Accurate. Freedom of expression is part of our constitution. We can't have anyone, let alone an MP, shot for voicing different opinions. Au contraire, Nia. So I fully agree, we should protect freedom of speech. The millennialist ideology that the Red Youth promotes poses threats to our country too. We should be cautious. I mean, should we protect freedom of speech? I feel like, so we have a very clear option here to either like agree with her, smile and nod and say like, yeah, we should protect freedom of speech, or we can kind of ignore that point entirely, not address that, and instead address the fact that the Red Youth are problematic and cede that thought. Go red and you lose your head. There it is. Yeah, I'm thinking too, yeah. Pedro Salgado, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show, buddy. If you are, again, you know what to do. I'll throw the Reign of Rain. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. King Rain the First. The freedom of speech to praise the rain train, baby. Yeah, exactly. Oh, you're allowed to speak freely, as long as it's positive words with regards to the rain train. Alright. The millennialist ideology that the Red Youth promotes poses threats to our country, too. We should be cautious. Poppy Fire, hey, how's it going? Yes, I have seen that event. I've been very preoccupied with it, actually, and taking a look at all the very interesting titles that are on display. Yeah. I'm all over that. I basically transitioned this week from E3 coverage to Next Fest coverage. It's been an exhausting week. It's going to be a wild weekend, too. But yes, indeed. We have to work hard to keep the party in line with Easeology. Oh, is that the political theory's name? Easeology? Oh, man. Agreed. And we are always watchful of internal threats like the banned Communist Party members who are supportive of a similar agenda with the Red Youth. See? These are problems. These groups wouldn't resort to unconventional means if they were represented in our assembly. The high electoral threshold and bans are making these factions extreme. Minister of Defense, Josef Lancea, grunted in disapproval. He towered over the rest of us in full military uniform, his many war medals conspicuously on display. Don't be stupid, woman. These organizations speak against the state. The labor union of Sordland is also in the same boat. I wouldn't be surprised if United Contana has a hand in supporting all of them. That's probably right. We should refrain from making the issue a political one from the start. It will only add fuel to the fire. It is political, though, isn't it? Yes, but we need to calm the country. If we take sides, we could escalate the situation further. There aren't many sides. The state versus its enemies. Yeah, I guess I do align with Yosef more with this playthrough. Ian Pretorius, thank you very much for subscribing. Again, hope you're having a good time, buddy. Easeology and Papaism. Oh, dear Lord. Naming entire ideologies after them. Oh, dear. Yeah, Yosef wants to jump the gun in a very literal sense, it feels like. Several police cars rushed past the Maroon Palace and everyone went silent. Regardless, a full investigation on all involved parties is underway. We will find the subversives and punish them soon enough, Mr. President. I will do my best to help coordinate the administrative tasks. Oh, get out of here, Peter. Just be drinking. Justice will be served, and the rule of law will return to this country stronger than ever. Only if we stay vigilant as a country. We must think about the upcoming budget. So it's too soon to jump to conclusions. Reckless acts will have dire consequences. Or I agree, internal stability must be maintained. Our security funding might need to be increased. Okay. Any threat to our power must be dealt with as soon as possible. I like 3. 2 is a reasonable aggressive response. 3 is I would say, despotic aggressive response. Any threat to our power must be dealt with as soon as possible. Like basically, if you can imagine Palpatine saying it, then we should lean towards it. That's what I'm thinking. You know. Yeah, exactly, Althor, right? It's like, whoa, we shouldn't make this political. An anti-communist organization just had a communist person assassinated. I feel like it's already a political statement. Is there a skinny mustache in the character selection screen? Oh, I can't remember, ABK. I know there's a lot of variety. There might be. I can't remember, though, for the life of me. You know, I say we go with 3 over here. I see the call for 2. I say we go with 3 over here, just because it's, yeah, you know, just that much more aggressive. Any threat to our power, as a party, not just us, but as a party, must be dealt with as soon as possible. Any direct attack against the government and our people is a serious concern, but we don't know enough to act on yet. Lucian took some notes after checking the latest newspapers and reports. It seems that the tensions between the communists and nationalists will escalate further. It will be very difficult to pass any meaningful change if there is chaos in the country. Whoever is against the state is an enemy. Okay. We'll make it through this and deliver our promises. We can't fix the recession if there isn't stability. Again, I'm leaning towards 3 over here. Oh yeah, 2 would have been smart, but we're also despots, right? I don't think 3 was an unreasonable thing to say either. Like, because it's not my power, it's our power, as in like the party again, right? And of course, we're all aligned with the party, because if the party wins, then we win. All like the people in the party win. Hello, Souza, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope I didn't get that name too horribly wrong. Feel free to correct me if I did, but hope you're enjoying the show, buddy. Sam, so I guess we're going traditionalist, but we want to win the people's minds, so going to circus funeral seems like a nice move, right? I don't know. I feel like we would not go to that funeral to show our support of to the nationalists. You know, because the nationalists will spin it. If we go to the funeral, the nationalists will spin it, and it will lose their support. And then who's left for us? The communists? We don't want to work with them. So I want to make sure. I think I want to avoid the funeral, Sam. The USB has 20 years of Saul. They're used to power. Exactly. In fact, they crave it. We're not doing this smart. We're doing this despot. Smart didn't go so well. Indeed, indeed. Whoever is against the state is an enemy. There are definitely people who will agree with this as well. Like Yosef probably is like thinking this himself, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if Peter likes this kind of, I guess you wouldn't call it jingoism, but aggression, right? Whoever's against the state is an enemy. We will prevail. See? Yosef. Good guy. Good guy. We are here to stay. Peter as well, of course. This will be it for today, then. We will convene again soon. Thank you all, and keep us updated. The meeting concluded, and the ministers left the room with concerned looks. It was hard to anticipate what would happen next. See, I can't remember if the last time we did this, if they left with concerned looks as well, or if they were more pleased with my answers. Peter is a centrist. He obviously doesn't approve this. I don't know. He seems okay. Toman approves, indeed. Yosef is just the dude. Is he? I don't recall the dude being particularly warmongery. Bernard Circus. Yeah, updated with his with the news of his death by a member of the Young Swords. The news has what to say. Lackhaven Times. A murder at the palace. Breaking news. Bernard Circus, a prominent independent MP known for his communist romanticism, has been murdered, leaving the Maroon Palace grounds after the inauguration ball of Anton Rain. Oh, he was leaving? Dude, don't leave a party so early. Reports indicate a politically motivated assault by the far-right nationalists of the Young Swords. Shocking photographs have been leaked to the press showing blood-dripped stairs of the Maroon Palace. We heavily condemn this sort of political violence. This is the very cycle the president must break with reforms. I agree. We must end this violence. Proceed to the next turn. Feels so much faster than previously. Marcy Winters McLaughlin, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show. Again, if you are, you know what to do. Let me know. David, how's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it. Happy Friday. Gonna catch the VOD later on this week. Sounds good, sounds good. Thanks for dropping by. And I hope you had a wonderful week. And a good weekend ahead of you, too. Don't you feel already the algorithm behind dialogues in this game? Well, not really. Like, yes and no, right? Because, like, it's still very early in the game where it has to stay... like, the thing with branching paths and branching conversations is as they spread apart, it gets more and more branched, right? It becomes chaos. So you always have to start kind of in a small bubble where some things remain consistent, and then as things start to divert or diverge, I guess, that's when you start seeing like, oh wow, never in a million years would I have seen this option unless I took these exact specific decisions earlier. You know what I mean? So right now things seem different but similar, and I feel like down the line the differences will compound and it'll feel completely different from our previous playthrough entirely. Melkor, hey buddy, how's it going? Having a good day, I hope. And the violence by taking care of everyone that doesn't support us. I mean, that's one way to do it, right? That's one way to do it. All right, what do we got going on here? Lots of news, lots of reports coming in. Man, it's a lot of work being in charge. All right, Volgan, what do you want? Communist Party leader suspected of bomb attack. You see, we got to shut these guys down, man. We got to shut these guys down. At 11:48 a.m., an unattended bag in front of the NFP office in Volgan was destroyed by the police on suspicions of a bomb threat, which were then verified. Upon further investigation, the Communist Party leader of Volgan, Milt Hanu, has been arrested in connection to the incident. Jeez, okay. I forgot how actual, direct, and literal that connection was. That's actually pretty bad. Over at Gen, weapons seized in Cultural Center. Local police forces report that a wardrobe full of heavy military equipment has been seized in a Young Swords Cultural Center in Gen. Regulars of the place denied having any knowledge about the weapons. The owners of the building have been detained along with 13 other people. The police captured 22 rifles and 2 machine guns. The equipment belonged to the Swordish Armed Forces dated 1929, but kept in very good condition. Okay. Collectors, I suppose. I understand wanting to collect historical pieces. Illegal firearms found in the Communist Party office. Are we surprised that they're hiding illegal weapons? The Ribery Police Department raided the local Communist Party office after alleged attacks organized by one of their members and found illegal firearms in the office. The building has been closed, and 22 members of the Communist Party of Sordland have been detained. Like, damn, this is a party itself, man. Classified, how's it going, buddy? It's a holiday? Oh, you got a day off? Well, I hope you're enjoying the day off. And thanks for coming through. Hope you had a good week behind you, buddy. Thank goodness we have Lilius overseeing our internal security to ensure no more people will be assassinated. Yes, it's a good thing that Lilius is making sure that everybody is safe from further assassination attempts or anything like that. Last minute federal halt. Oh, right, of course. Right. Forgot about that. Yeah, didn't it like literally get approved like yesterday or day before or something? Alright, down over here at Suzerain. Young Swords Youth Wing leader dead after terror attack. Oh, man. Local Young Swords Youth Wing leader in Suzerain, Yak Toiren, has claimed responsibility for the organized attack in the Blutish Market that resulted in the death of 7. His base of operations have been raided, and he was found dead inside with 2 bullet wounds to the back of the head. The scene was organized to make it look like a suicide. We were not able to get information about the location of other ringleaders connected to the terrorist attack. Yeah, it's organized to make it look like a suicide, except 2 shots to the back of the head, execution style. Yep, 100%. Whoever did this did a bad job of it. By which I mean the writing is excellent, but the point is that whoever executed this assassination did a bad job of it, is what I mean to say. The writing is great. Smolak warns traitors. Wow. External reports come later. External reports come later. We care about our nation first. Narble, police understaffed. Narble has reported that it is currently too understaffed to deal with the ongoing political violence. Due to the small size of the police force in the city, they've been working non-stop, and a number of officers were sent to the hospital as a result of severe fatigue. Minister of the Interior, Lilius Graf, has been working with Head of Police Carl Grieser to address the issue. Fair enough. Yeah, classify, yeah. I completely... The fact that it's June has slipped my mind. Everything's just a blur now, so I completely missed out on the conversation there. Yeah, it's a well-written suicide note. Exactly. It does sound like real life, doesn't it? I mean, that's the thing about this game. It's very referential, even in its most horrifying moments. On the topic of references, illegal Ka-74s seized. A cache found with Roomberg-made weapons included 46 Ka-74s, 2,854 bullets, 12 handguns, 27 grenades, and bomb-making equipment was found in the basement of an abandoned house in Suzerain. No suspects have been detained yet. The investigation is ongoing to determine the origins of the equipment. Well, it's obviously the Red Youth. I mean, we can see what's going on in the nation. It's obviously them, right? Police overburdened in Estord. Either them or the damn Bloods. We've been receiving reports of a lack of equipment and staff from the police forces in Estord. With the escalating violence in the city, the officers have been working 12-hour shifts to suppress the protests to no avail. The police commissioner of Estord has requested reinforcements and extra supplies of tear gas from nearby cities. All right, fair enough. Lots of trouble brewing. That's what I like about this game a lot. Is like it's just like you're really thrown into a horrible situation, into a boiling pot of oil, like a vat of oil rather. Oh dear, classified. Poppyfire, yesterday I had my entry to workers and resources. Scale of the game is huge. Oh yeah, it's massive. The game is massive, and they keep updating it with like really big updates too. Hope you're enjoying the game though. It's a lot of fun, Poppyfire. Dragonfey, how's it going? First Suzerain stream I've caught in a while. Sounds good. I'm glad you can make it. Hope live's been treating you well. It's been some time since you come to a live stream, right? Still catch you in the comments all the time, of course, but a live stream, I think. Hope it's a good Friday. Hope you're enjoying it. 6X Lord, hey man, you know what they say about wizards, right? How's it going, man? Having a good day? Is there religion in this game? There is indeed. There are going to be some interesting conversations on that topic actually further down the line. But yes, the faith of our people is a topic of conversation. Yes. Horton critiques trade. What's this guy on about? The leader of Agnolia has diplomatically critiqued the imbalance of trade between our countries. Concerns were raised over how much more Sordland profits from net trade in comparison to Agnolia. Prime Minister Van Horten requests a fair reevaluation of existing treaties and future negotiations. This is going to be an interesting conversation, right? We want to make sure we don't give too much away, but this is we also want to make sure we get some allies and trade deals. Having to choose our allies and our trade deals is going to be interesting. I'm always torn between sleep and watching the stream. That's fair. You know what, Dragon? Dragonfey, I'm always torn between sleep and doing the stream. No, I mean I'm half joking, but doing the streams early morning has been great for me to like wake up in the morning. I'm not a morning person, but the streams have been a great way for me to like get up in the morning and get a good start to my day. And then somehow I still manage to stay up until like 2, 3, 4 in the morning. So my days become a lot more productive because they become that much longer. So, but there are days definitely where I'm just like, why do I stream in the mornings? I'm not a morning person. Smolak warns traders. The latest diplomatic message from the leader of Wellen warned us regarding a pathway from the mountains of Bergia that allowed traders of the state escaping to Sordland. President Victor Smolak has demanded that the border security be increased. He also sent his best wishes about handling the protests in Sordland. This guy's a good guy. Look at that. He's warning us about a potential threat to our borders, and he's also, just sending his best wishes about the situation we're trying to deal with here. What a good guy. What a good guy, Victor. Honestly, the greatest. Classified. Normally torn between work and the stream. Oh wait, no, I'm not. Jazzy V, unfortunately, I haven't been able to dive into the closed beta yet, which is wild to think about because I'm so excited for Humankind. But like I said moments ago, I basically this week for me has been like transitioning from E3 straight into Stream Next Fest as far as like coverage is concerned. So I've just been so busy with that like the Humankind beta is installed on my computer, teasing me, taunting me, and I'm just like, no, I can't right now. Well, hopefully I'll get the chance before it's over on Monday, right? I really want to. I want to get another playthrough done in it. But work is work, as they say, I suppose. Very Palpatine-esque. Sorry, what was Palpatine-esque? Bugger him, keep the trade deal unbalanced, and we'll work out the whole Roombergian invasion thing. That's what I want to try and do, Ted Knight. I do want to try and do that. See if we can get him to agree to the trade deal that's grossly in favor of us. I don't know if that's an option. Althor, I'm always torn between sleep and life. And yeah, 6X Lord, you didn't miss too much. It was just as Natalie P so eloquently put it, post-assassination conversation, basically. Smolak, his best friend. Victor is a funny guy. Yeah, funny guy, that guy. He's great. He's got our back. Yeah, wonderful ally to have. Yeah, exactly. We are playing a Despot this time around. How's that working out for us? So far, it's okay. We haven't gotten far enough for anything to go horribly wrong. So far, it's been all right. How do we handle spoilers for viewers who haven't seen the first run? So I would say try not to mention what we learned last time outside of like a couple of cheeky jokes and sentences, I guess. But the fact of the matter is that I'm also trying to not, apart from my own, obviously, jokes that I'm making at our own expense, I suppose. I'm trying not to think about what we learned last time because I don't want that to influence our decision making this time, right? We shouldn't be like, oh, we know that this person is doing this thing behind the scenes, so let's treat them differently, because that's metagaming, right? And we're role playing, so very important not to metagame. So I'm trying not to mention anything directly, but feel free to make the cheeky comments and all that. Otherwise I couldn't tell you. I don't have a solid answer for you. Some things won't come up this time anyway. Oh, for sure, yes, we will not be making the a kakep, I guess. It's got to be a smoother way to say that. Rain Palpatine, I love democracy. All sort post. Swordish politician shot dead on the topic of I love democracy. A Swordish poet and politician who had spoken about the idea of the dictatorship of the proletariat was shot during the evening of Anton Rain's inauguration ball. Bernard Circus, a 53-year-old Swordish member of Assembly, was shot a number of times by a gunman at the entrance of the Maroon Palace, who was identified to be a member of the Young Swords. Despite his radical views, Mr. Circus was elected to be an independent member of Assembly in the 1953 elections and sadly did not manage to live long enough to serve his duty. He was said to have repeatedly received threats from Swordish nationalists, who viewed him as a traitor for promoting millennialism in Sordland. Television footage showed the famous poet's body lying face down, draped with a white sheet, on the pavement in front of the gates of the Maroon Palace. Lilias Graf, the Interior Minister, said she had assigned a group of leading ministry officials to lead the hunt for the killers. Once again, dark hands have chosen our country and spilled blood in Hallsword to achieve their dark goals, she told a news conference. We are investigating all aspects of this crime. His funeral will be held tomorrow in the home city, Dare. In his home city, rather, Dare. The local police have reported to have increased the security measures for the ceremony and stand ready for a massive attendance. Very well, very well. Humankind Beta is open to those who have pre-ordered the full game. Yes, that is correct. And if you actually pre-order it at my store, you will also still have access to that beta, and you will be supporting the channel at the same time. No obligation, of course, but there's that store link Jazzy B dropped in chat over there. If you buy anything over there, actually, you support the channel. And if you want to get into the Humankind closed beta, you just need to pre-order the game. It is running until the 22nd of June, I believe. So there's still a handful of days left. Should be enough to get a good idea of how the game plays and runs. Imagine if clothing could change your playthroughs. Like, that'd be pretty interesting. That would be pretty interesting. Yeah, if you go in with a cigar, or if you go in with like cigarettes, you're like, oh hey, yeah, this Anton Rain's a chain smoker or something. That would be kind of funny, actually. AVK. Wickles is being slanderous. What did I miss here? I missed something. Got to promote Rainism and Raina comics. Oh god, Reaganomics. I think. All right, Sordland today. Unity despite differences. Sordland has two paths to the future, and this year is crucial to decide which path we embark on. Amid a recession, the lack of stability and security caused by the death of Bernard Circus is an unacceptable reality. We need more jobs and a safe atmosphere if our country is supposed to grow and prosper. But how will we increase our employment and open new factories if there is blood flowing down the streets? Sordland will never reach its goals as an advanced society if we descend into a downward spiral of a splintering of our nation. Peace and prosperity now and forever. I agree. Murder was a method of the past. The tensions between the left and right extremists have increased in the country after the assassination of MP Bernard Circus. Protests of millennialist groups quickly turned into riots around the country. We're calling for peaceful protests and dialogue instead of violence. After the attack that prompted the riots, a member of Young Swords assassinating a member of Assembly clearly shows that they are willing to use extreme actions, said Franz Richter in his speech in the Grand National Assembly. We live within these borders together, and therefore we all bear a responsibility, a duty to live together with our differences. Richter's unifying message is something that we all should listen to in these times of danger of loss. The murder was a method of the past, and it has tainted us, reminded us of who we were before and who we don't want to become in the future, said Richter, and stated that
We as the citizens of this nation all bear a responsibility beyond ideologies, partisanship, or any other identity. Yeah, talking up Richter. He's all words, man. He's just all words. He has his own agenda, of course. Yeah, exactly. Me too, Halthor. Yeah. Read it as comics. Am I interested in game dev? I mean, to a degree, yes. It used to be something that I wanted to get into way back when. It is still something I'm interested in. Yeah, game dev, the process, the methodologies, and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, something I keep up with quite a bit. Hire people to mop up the blood, create jobs. Exactly. I was actually legitimately, I was thinking, well, not the exact same thing, but I was thinking like, oh, you just do like what they do in Venice. You get people on little thingies. Yeah, you employ people. Stop to watch a little bit of party while I'm waiting for the garbage man to come just at work. Sounds good. Well, I'm glad you could drop by. Hope you're having a good time. Thanks for coming through. Wickles, I'm always slanderous. And I love it. Farewell, Bernard Circus, says the radical. It is a sad moment for Sordland. We've lost a renowned poet who not only wrote about the struggles of the working class, but also acted on them. However, his decision to enter Swordish politics was met with a sick attack that ended his life. This was indeed intended as a message to all opposing voices in Sordland. We, the team here at the Radical, condemn this evil act of terror of the young swords, who we believe must be held accountable as a whole group. It is finally the time for the government to realize this organization as a terrorist threat and serve the justice that is due. Bernard Circus is always going to be in our hearts as a great Swordish poet, as a revolutionary, as a leader of the Swordish avant-garde, as a futurist, as a romantic, as a millennialist, but beyond all, as a symbol of freedom of speech. People of the Radical Man, well, that's a massive run-on. He is now a man who was murdered for speaking his mind. This cannot remain as yet another political murder off this sad reality of Sordland. In fact, it is time to change this. It is time to speak up as people. The most beautiful sea hasn't been crossed yet, said the great poet, reminding us to always have hope. And we must strive to have hope and to make them a reality. It is the best way to honor his memory. Bernard Circus will be laid down in Dare tomorrow. Any citizen who wants to pay respects is invited to attend. Fair enough. And The Economist, the only way out of recession, bailing out businesses. I agree. Sordland's economy has been displaying a downward trend over the past 2 years of Alfonso's presidency. If we want to prevent our country from declaring bankruptcy, we need a way out of this recession, and we need it now. The economic downturn keeps hitting hard at the businesses which are struggling to stay afloat. It is clear that a helping hand from the government is required to control the situation. There is no other way apart from bailing out businesses to truly provide relief to the economy. This, in turn, should revitalize the economy by creating more employment opportunities and increasing production in Sordland. Absolutely. See, that's what you do. You give money to the businesses, the head honchos, the people in charge. And what they do in turn is when they have all that extra money, they increase the wages of their employees because they're able to, right? Because they're finally able to afford higher pay for their employees. And so by giving them a lot of money, they then send that money down to their employees, which then empowers the economy. There's got to be like a term for it or something. It's like the money flows down. It's like a flow down economics or something, you know? It'll work flawlessly. It's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. Circus should have just stuck to his 3 rings. Wait. Oh, you mean like circus rings? Hang on a second. I need Karanti. Yes, we need, for sure, control over the media. Ironically, Kyle Liberty, control over the media is definitely something we will be pursuing. What game do I dream to create? Oh, man. That much like your own self after you ask that question, yes, there's many ideas. One idea that I like 30%, 33% made at one point a long time ago. Now, this is like 5-6 years ago. It was a monster hunting management game, specifically Krakens at the time, where it was a management game where you would run run a monster hunting business, or I guess a Kraken hunting business, and I made quite a bit of it. I did like a whole design document, did like some of the art, not a lot of the art, some of the art and ideas and stuff. But you know, life got busy, and that was another one of my hundreds of projects that just kind of sits there collecting digital dust, as it were. I would enjoy going back to that though. It was a quirky idea. A7K, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're having a good time. If you are, you know what to do. And that answer might sound funny as well, because like I lean so heavily on like historical games and stuff like that. But it was one of those ideas that hit me once, and I was like, man, this would be funny. I got a lot of ideas. There's a lot of types of games that I would love to be able to make. And I've spent my time in a couple of different engines, learning a couple of different languages, but it's a huge investment as far as like time is concerned, right? We don't need Karanti. We want him. He's a winner. Oh, we don't need Karanti. We want him. Yeah, true. It's a good point. Need versus want. Health or trickle down? Trickle down sounds too slow. I feel like it'll work so smoothly. It'll work so well. It's not just a trickle. It's a flow. You know. That's why I think flow down. Mohammed, you think trickle is? Sure. You know, maybe we'll go with trickle then. It feels like I'm outvoted there. The bosses will trickle all over their Dragonfey. 100%, man. Be strong, for we have lost Circus. Do not let it make you nervous. Soon we will abolish habeas corpus, imprison all traitors, and make Sordland glorious. Now that's poetry. That's poetry. See, Bernard Circus couldn't write something like that. Reports of BFF activity in the capital. Oh dear. Chief of Police Carl Grazer reports that 2 Blutish women with affiliations to the Blutish Freedom Front have been caught in Hallsword before they could execute a terror attack at a crowded rally. Both women are listed as wanted criminals and enemies of the state. The arrested women have admitted their intentions to attack the National Front Party's rally at Seoul Square when Kesaro Kibner gave his speech, but rejected any connections to the BFF. Both claimed that they were acting alone. Police reports that the situation is under control and further investigations are underway. Of course it's the BFF. What do you take us for, fools? Dinner with the family at home. Why not? Let's do that first and then we'll deal with the security briefing. It's important to spend time with the family, right? Security issues can wait. Rainomics. I mean, yeah, I guess the wealth rains down from the top, I suppose. Aces above. Rain down economy. Oh god. Oh god, rain down economics. Damn. How dare they use that? Right? They're not our best friends forever, clearly. Hold on, folks. I need a quick sip of water. I'm actually losing my voice. I woke up with a sore throat this morning, so I'm a little concerned about the weekend to come. But one sec here, folks. Alright, after a long day at the palace, I was finally home. I thanked Serge and walked through the front gates, nodding at the 2 guards as I went by. Even as I turned the doorknob, I could hear Deanna rushing down the stairs to greet me. I opened the doors, and there she was, standing in front of me with expectant eyes. "Papa, you're home!" Lift and hug her. I lifted Deanna up and hugged her while trying to put the keys in the tray next to the entrance. Oh god, this is an alternative like storyline where I drop her and she like hits her head and dies, and you know, Monica and I divorce because the death of a child is one of the top reasons for She was growing fast. Lifting her up was no longer as easy as it once was. Nope, just reminded me of my age. How was school? Boring. I liked my old school better. I put her down, and her expression turned serious. Papa, are the bad men gone? Yes, your papa took care of everything. Give her that false sense of security. Halthor, yeah, just a little bit. Just the way it was written, I was just like, what happens? No, Wickles, not quite yet. Not quite yet. Party wouldn't in any lifetime help the Bloods. Whoa. In our previous playthrough, we very much did. Hang on a second. Unless you mean the party as in our political party. Oh god, yeah, that sucks, Natalie. Yeah, that's just it. Like, I'm losing my voice from all the extra, like, videos that came out this week. Why disown when you can send them to boot camp? Exactly, it's not disowning. It's educating. I will never let anyone hurt you ever. Yeah, I guess you're right. That does sound, Well, so 6X Lord, she's... I think both of those exhibit power. Our power, you know? Let's go with I will never let anyone hurt you ever. 3 for a full sense of peace so I can murder her? Yikes. Now that's YouTube stopping your message from coming through. Okay, Papa. Deanna dashed down the hallway. Mama! Papa's here! Monica appeared next to the kitchen door. She was wearing an apron and holding a spatula in her hand. Deanna, what did I tell you? No running in the house. Yes, Mama. You know, it's always strange. So I've never used the terms Mama and Papa. Like, I've never, like, that's not how I refer to my parents. And so it's funny how hard it is for me to say these words. I can say a word that's not a normal, usually used word without any issue. But for some reason, saying Mama and Papa always feels a little strange, you know? It's like boss, when I was talking about Phantom Brigade on Tuesday. Anytime I say boss, hey boss, I feel like I'm a mobster. Monica approached me and kissed me on the cheek. A tantalizing smell wafted from the kitchen behind her. Oh dear. Darling, you shouldn't have. What do we have a cook for? How was your day? I'm hungry. When's dinner? How was your day? Again, we're still nice to our wife. We're still nice to our family. How was your day, dear? Pablo M., thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show, buddy. If you are, you know what to do. Mama is the Italian way, is it? Zabla time, indeed. Hey, Mama Boss. Oh my god, aces. Terrific. I finally got to do some grocery shopping, just like the old times. And I'm making your favorite. You mean... Yes, Lorsha. Oh, hey, it's different. Lorsha was a Lackhaven specialty usually reserved for special occasions. A rich seafood stew with a heady garlic and paprika kick. Oh, that sounds good, actually. It was absolutely my favorite dish, especially paired with kebij, a potent, unfiltered wine from Bergia. Give her a kiss on the cheek. I kissed Monica on the cheek. I just wanted to cheer everyone up a bit. Her smile faded and she lowered her voice so that Deanna couldn't hear her. Especially after what happened at the ball. Yeah, I know, Monica. I know. What else could you be talking about? I'm worried, Anton. For you, for the children, and for the country. Deanna suddenly appeared next to us. Mama! Yes, sweetheart? I'm hungry. We'll eat in just a minute. Will you help me set the table? Anton, can you tell Frank to come down for dinner? He's been sulking in his room all day. Monica started taking out the china while I headed upstairs to fetch my son. You know, it just occurred to me, hang on a second. If this is a fictional universe, a fictional world, does China still exist? Because why else would you call it China if it's not, you know, if it's not if it's not popularized if the word China doesn't mean anything, right? You know what I mean, right? And yes, Zavala, we've been lied to. It's cool, actually, that it's different based on your backstory. That happened because we're from Lackhaven, right? You have to be nice to your wife. Why own things if you don't take good care of them? Oh my god, Halthor. That reminds me of a joke by Jimmy Carr. Jimmy Carr. Oh god, I don't know if I should say it. YouTube will probably like demonetize me if I say it. But it reminds me of a joke by Jimmy Carr. You should just, you know, when you get the chance, YouTube search Jimmy Carr on wife or something like that, and it's a good time. Loud rock and roll music echoed down the hallway from his room. I caught a faint hint of cigarette smoke. God. True, I guess, Saketh, maybe China did exist in this past. Jimmy Carr is amazing. I do love Jimmy Carr. Classified. I'm glad more people, more and more people like him. The equivalent of China in this game is the Shinu. Oh, okay, so there is they do have an in-universe equivalent. Yeah, so that is an oversight, actually. The calling it China would be technically incorrect. Hunter Cat, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show, buddy. If you are, you know what to do. I like it. His laugh is iconic. His laugh is iconic. Knock on the door. We respect privacy in this house. There was no response. Alright, well, we gave him a chance. Open the door. I tried to open the door. The door was locked. Why would you... knock on the door again. Losing more patience here, boy. There was still no response. Banged on the door. The stereo in Frank's room clicked off. Alright, alright. He unlocked and opened the door. What do you want? Turn those records up louder next time, won't you? I don't think the neighbors heard. Damn. I don't, you know, look, again, we're trying to be nice for our family, right? I could be just kind of like that stern, cold food is ready. That sarcastic, make him hate us vibe. I could do the aggressive, I own you, and you should hate me vibe. Or I could do the don't try to be smart with me vibe. I'm kind of leaning on the cigarettes. I don't know. Despots don't strike me like as patient fellows. Au contraire, often they have to be the most patient, right? Because you have to rise to power, and then you can be a complete and cruel individual. Though the more I had to click on those options, I was leaning towards Halthor's option there, kick in the door and smack him, for real. Listening to that goddamn rock and roll in the Rain household. I know. Do we also consider it to be, what is it? Sacrilegious music? Yeah, exactly, Dragonfay. Trying to figure it out exactly. Much better second half. That's good to hear, Ease. I don't think I want to ask how it ended, but I don't know if anybody wants match spoilers in chat. Now you know what? Yeah, good point, Natalie. Actually, that's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Hand over those cigarettes. Join your family for dinner. Don't try to like sneak one past me, Frank. You smoke, don't you? I'm old enough to do what I want. No, you're not. As long as you live in this house, you'll do as I command. I'm trying to quit that nasty habit. You ought to stop while you still can. I'm just asking you to wait until you're out of the house. I was gonna say, I was originally gonna say like, I don't smoke. What makes you say I smoke? And I was like, oh right, wait a second. Probably literally smoking right now. Damn, I do hate number 1, but it is a fitting response, isn't it? I'm not trying to quit the habit, clearly. Just asking you to wait. This is like 3 is the polite way to do it. 3 is the polite way to do it. I don't know if 2 is I don't know if 2 is true though. I don't know if 2 is true. I quite enjoy my cigar, right? You do own him. You're his father and of the nation, so you own him twice over. Althor. It could be an old portrait taken in my presidential suit. As long as you live in this house, you'll do as I command. He's getting a little too chippy with me. Frank heaved a sigh, handed me the packet, and headed downstairs. I followed him to the living room. That's like the one way to guarantee he keeps smoking, by the way. It's like I've basically guaranteed he's gonna smoke until he drops dead of lung cancer. Like, guaranteed it. Chain smoke every day, 10 packs a day. The table was prepared, and Monica was ladling food onto the plates. Come on, have a seat. It won't be as tasty if it's cold. As we started eating, the room went quiet. Monica's cooking was as delicious as ever, but I had the feeling that wasn't the reason nobody spoke. Monica was the first to break the silence. Say, did you know that they refurbished the grocery store? I don't know if you remember the owner. He's been there every day for the past 30 years. Can you imagine doing the same job for so long? What if you were president for 20 years, for example? Oh, wow. Why stop at 20? Yeah, Aces, exactly. Frank, no smoking in the house. While smoking a cigar. Is smoking seen as bad in the 50s? In the 50s, I don't know. When did the Surgeon General's warning and stuff all happen? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure in the 50s it was like fine to smoke. Heck, I wouldn't be surprised if like in the 50s they advertised it as a way to cure disease or something, you know. But I still think that tobacco was still seen like tobacco is still a, you know, substance, so to speak, like alcohol. Right? It's a conversation to be had. He'll get killed in the military before he dies from smoking. Classified dark. Like father, like son. But he's smoking cigarettes. I'm smoking cigars. It's different. It's very different. It's very different. Exactly. Ivalo gets it. No smoking low quality stuff in the house. Grab yourself a cigar, boy. Doctors promoted. There was a time when like doctors were okay with it. There were times when like on TV reporters would be like smoking and promoting cigarette brands and stuff. It was common, but was it considered not bad? That's the difference, right? Not until the 60s was it considered bad, and socially not until the 2000s. Helps with anxiety and depression. Smoke more. Chewing tobacco was seen as bad since baseball players chewing it made children do it, and cowboys. Why not? We could live like kings. 20 years of this, I'd be dead. I don't want this country to suffer under another Saul. Honestly, would that be so bad? No, why not? We could live like kings. I'm with my family. I'm just joking with my family. Haha, like kings. Monica measured me with her eyes for a moment. Anyway, the grocer really is a nice person. He threw in some extra vegetables with my... Frank suddenly slammed his hands on the table, rattling the china. Monica and Deanna and I stared at him. So this is how it's going to be? We're just going to sit here like nothing happened? Dad, you could have been killed. Mom could have been killed. Any one of us could have died. Deanna's lower lip started trembling. Monica put her hand on Frank's shoulder. Oh. Ho ho ho. I'm very tempted to go with 4 over here. You'll not raise your voice to me, young man. I mean, actually, yeah, yikes. Frank, you know I would never let anything happen to you or Deanna, even if it cost me my life. That's not... Is that true? I don't know. How much do I love Frank? And what would you have us do? And yet we're all still alive. You will not raise your voice to me. I'm thinking, oh wow, that's actually interesting. More of y'all leaning towards 1 than I expected. What happened? Oh, this is remember the assassination that happens, of the communist guy, Bernard Circus. So after his assassination, we have dinner at home the next day, and during that dinner, our kids just acting up. That's where we are. Despots would let him think we love him, I suppose. See a couple calls for 4, 3s or 2s. No, it's the same conversation, though we're taking a different tact over here. He needs some carrot to go with the stick. I feel like he hasn't had enough stick yet, but I do see your point. I do see your point. Oh, there was other stuff as well, Ease. There was other stuff as well. Nah, you know what? You will not raise your voice to me, young man. He'll get his carrot some other time. But it's the truth. Frank got up from his seat. Oh, man. Fine. Let's talk about it. Sit down. I mean, I could... You want to talk? Fine, let's talk. You know, that kind of a tact over here. Dylan Lamb, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show. Again, if you are, you know what to do. If Frank's just smoking out of worry for you, yeah, that's exactly it. Fine, let's talk about it. Sit down. Frank took his seat again, scowling. Do you think I would let us go down so easily? Frank smirked. No. But it's not up to you, is it? My security assured me that they took all the necessary steps. It was one rogue shooter. We were not even the target, or just trust me. Okay, I like how this conversation turned, actually. Because I quite like how that went down. Just trust me? It was one rogue shooter, I think. We were not even the target. I feel like that second half there is reassuring to everyone around the table. That first one is just like, my security assured me that they took all the necessary steps after the incident. What about before the incident? Like, the incident was still about to happen. I feel like 2 is a bit more reassuring. It was one rogue shooter. We weren't even the target. But what if we were? Frank, listen to your father. If your father says we don't need to worry, then we don't need to worry. You have to trust him. Monica turned to me. We all have to trust each other. Things calmed down a bit at the table. We finished our food in silence. Frank got up first and retreated back to his room. Monica lifted Deanna up and plopped her in front of the living room TV before returning to the table. She sat down across from me. Anton, he is still young. That's what worries me. I made plenty of rash decisions when I was his age. Now, all my decisions were the correct decision. I know, but there's not much longer we can shield him from the ugliness of the world, where he should feel lucky he has a father who cares about him. I never had that. Oh, ho, 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 ho. Damn, yeah, she gets it. Monica always gets it. Until she doesn't. But she always gets it. Yeah, he should feel lucky he has a father who cares about him. I never had that. He's scared, Anton. And frankly, he's not the only one. All you need to worry about is putting more delicious dinner on our table. Oh, God. I promise if there truly is any threat to this family, you'll be the first to know. So, like, I don't think now is the time to make light of the circumstances. If we were talking about something else, then sure, 2 would be a viable response over here. But I think because she's scared, she's our wife, right? When your SO is scared, is it the time for jokes? No, I don't. Is it? I promise, if there truly is any threat to this family, you will be the first to know. We're a family unit. She got up, stood behind me, and massaged my shoulders for a moment before leaving me alone in the dining room. I sat alone at the table and drained my glass of cabbage. Had I been lying to Frank and Diana? Was the threat to my family truly over? Time would tell. Alright. Whew. I think that went well. Son storms off. Daughter's watching TV. Wife is scared for her life. I think that went well. The Hallsort Post. Protests across Sordland. Protests erupted around Sordland after the death of Bernard Circus, many of which started peaceful but soon turned violent. Protesters with red youth flags were seen in most central cities around Sordland, carrying out violent riots and organizing protests that disrupted much vital service from being delivered to the Sordish people. Protesters held sit-ins, which were broken up by riot police with tear gas and water cannons in the regions of Bergia, Agenland, and Groenie. Thousands of people poured into Republic Avenue in Lackhaven and Sol Square in Hallsord in response to the Young Swords attack. Similar protests around Sordland soon turned into violent riots. Sordland Today reports protests in Groenie. Protests are taking place throughout the Groenie region in response to the assassination of Bernard Circus. The protesters raised their concerns about the Young Swords, the increased cost of living, and inequality prevalent in the country. Large rallies have been organized in the city of Benfi and Borin. A large congregation of Red Youth members have organized sit-ins and protests aimed at hampering public transport in the city of Volgan, which brought the city to a standstill for a few hours before riot police came to disperse large groups of protesters at transportation nodes. Damn. Lackhaven Times. Political chaos. Political violence has surrounded Sordland since yesterday. While officials from the police claim to have the situation under control, protests are turning into riots and violent attacks are occurring around the country. NFP and LUS call for protests. Kisaro Kibner of the National Front Party called a rally to condemn communist influence from United Contana and called the violent protesters as traitors to Sordland. These millennivists are roaming in our streets, conducting violent attacks in disguise as peaceful protesters. We can't let them exploit a man's murder, said Kibner in a press conference. On the other hand, the Labour Union of Sordland has gathered to condemn nationalist violence in Sordland. The protests gathered crowds of several thousands and agitators from both sides in Hallsord, and acts of vandalism occurred. Katarina Horton accused Kibner for provoking the public. Young Swords vandalized shops. A group of people with Young Swords flags have vandalized a dozen shops in the trade district of Anrica, specifically targeting the Bludish and Agno-Sordish minorities. The shop owners who defended themselves were wounded in the attacks. The local police broke the groups apart. The NFP office burned. A group of violent militants have assaulted the National Front Party headquarters in Morna and committed arson. Firefighters have been called to the scene, where fires raged for hours on end. Several nearby houses burned to the ground before it was brought under control. Man, innocent people suffering because of the violence against the NFP. Innocent people suffering. I get the feeling that Party Elite is such a nice guy that he's struggling, playing an assertive, arrogant, self-centered despot with an old-fashioned male head of the family. It's called role-playing for a reason, right? Do not look to the east. Do not look to the west. Don't turn unrest. Sorry. Do not look to the east. Do not look to the west. Don't turn to unrest nor protest, for it is here in Sordland where it is the best. The poetry is extra fitting when it comes to like political stuff like this, isn't it? Headed back to work, Marcus? Sounds good, buddy. Well, thanks for dropping by. Hope you had a good time, and hope work treats you well. And hope you have a good Friday as well. Cheers, mate. Thanks for coming through. You smell civil war brewing, the Gaminator? Nah, everything's under control. Everything's under control. Classified protesters. I see you follow the Y saying from Nigan Owl. Wait. I am unfamiliar with this reference. Okay, we're back into Allsort. Security briefing on the threats against Sordland. All of them? It's going to be a long meeting. I arrived in front of the doors leading to the Situation Room. Today's security briefing was arranged in two parts, starting with internal matters and moving on to external matters after a short break. The Minister of Interior, Lilius Graf, and the Minister of Justice and Law, Nia Morgna, would join us for the first part, the law enforcement briefing. For the second part, the Minister of Defense, Josef Lancea, would join with a few high-ranking officials, including the Chief of the Armed Forces, Vulcan Kruger. I opened the door. Lucien, Nia, and Lilius rose from their seats. Sir? Please, take your seats. Everyone in the room sat down except for Lucien. He put on his glasses and went through the documents in front of him. Shortly after, he raised his head to address the attendees. I thought I told you to take your seat. Have him killed. Mr. President, ladies, we'll kick off today's meeting with the internal security briefing. I'm assuming everyone has already been over the agenda. We all have busy schedules, so without further ado, I will jump into our first topic. As we feared, the political atmosphere has worsened. The reports around the country indicate that tensions are rising as we feared. What is the status on the Bernard Circus investigation? I have received news this morning that the investigation into the murder of Bernard Circus has concluded. Please, enlighten us. The more we know, the better. After further investigation and testimonies, we have confirmed the motive and also the events leading up to the shooting. A few days prior, members of the Red Youth initiated a violent attack on a Young Swords local leader in Gen. We believe the Young Swords then called for revenge, leading to the death of Mr. Circus. The suicide, I guess, is what triggered this attack? Exactly, it's not a civil war, it's terrorism, exactly. Monica's of Agno-Swordish ancestry, is she? Well, hang on a second. Damn, she is. Well, what do you know? Huh. Well, what do you know? David, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show, buddy. Again, if you are, you know what to do. That goes for all y'all. If you're watching, you're having a good time, whether you're watching live or you're watching the VOD, having a good time, let me know. Hit that like button down below and indicate to me that you would like to see this series and just live streams in general continue. Alright. Since he often spoke against the Young Swords and nationalist sentiments in the Assembly, he was a big target. Not to mention his radical communist views. He had it coming. The Red Youth are clearly to blame since they triggered it. Right, we could start that conversation right now. Shut down the Red Youth, allow the righteous Young Swords to keep running. It's either 2 or 4, I'm thinking. What do you guys think? 2 or 4? I'm kind of leaning towards 4. Let's start that conversation now to shut the Red Youth down. They literally killed somebody, you know, again, a couple hundred meters away from the president of Sordland. I think they need to be shut down. Oh god, Halthor. I just read Make Sweet Sweet Love and I'm like, wait, that's not an option over here. And then I realized with that up thumb, I was like, oh, okay. Seeing some calls for 4s. 1, political violence needs to stop. Does it though? It only needs to stop if it's targeting us, you know what I mean? We will certainly be taking part in political violence ourselves if push comes to shove. I want to be the one doing the shoving. Alright, let's go with 4. The Red Youth are clearly to blame since they triggered it. They struck first, yes. It was obvious that there would be a retaliation. Lilius knows what's up. Lilius handed over the report and pointed at a highlighted section in the document. The investigation revealed a very troubling fact. The funding sources of the Red Youth have a clear link to United Contana. Foreign interference. This is proof that they're meddling in our affairs. Exactly. Several Red Youth members with ties to United Contana have been detained, and the information extracted from them points to a preparation for a communist uprising in Sordland. It isn't unusual for the superpowers to influence other nations, but I think this case is a little far-fetched. The left lacks popular support in Sordland. Nia eagerly lifted her hand. I motioned for her to speak. I went over the report in detail. It will be wrong to jump to conclusions about a clear foreign interference yet. United Contana has humanitarian and cultural ties with many countries, including Sordland. I could say I don't want to create a crisis with them, which is true, they are a superpower. Or I could say I trust Miss Graf over here, and that they are clearly trying to expand their influence. Tough. Tough. It's like, do we ignore the potential danger of making an enemy out of United Cantana? Right? We have to be careful about that. They are a superpower. They will be trouble. Jumping to conclusions is dangerous. I like that line of thinking, Agalos. I wouldn't call totally legit and justified actions against enemies of the state political violence, so technically you wouldn't be lying to say you're against it. That's you know what? I like it. I gotta think more like that. Every good leader has a crisis to rally the folks behind one. This is true. If there is no crisis, you make one. Oof. I trust Miss Graff's judgment. United Cantana is clearly trying to expand its influence. Here we go. We promised a free market. We promised a free market. And Ferret Man, thank you very much for subscribing. Again, I hope you're enjoying the show. You know what to do, buddy. And again, lots of new subscribers. If you're in the live stream, don't hesitate to join our Discord either. We just crossed 3,900 members now. So if you want to join a massive group of fantastic people, link is in the description down below. If you hit !Discord in chat as well, you'll get the Discord link for yourself. Great place to hang out, great place to be. Lots of folks to play games with and just chill with. Mr. Rain, we have done our due diligence, and the funding, operatives, and strategy all point to a coup plot. She took a sip from her glass of water and continued. Our police chief, Carl Grieser, has linked the funding channel to the United Cantana consulate in Benfield. As we all know, the enemies of Sordland are many, but we also have threats inside the country. Our country always had issues. This is part of our job. As the government, we have all the power to deal with any threat. We need to remain vigilant. Geez, 2, I guess, right? We're the ones who knock, right? As the government, we have all the power to deal with any threat. And that is actually relatively decent evidence. Relatively, right? Like, if we give up essential freedoms to purchase temporary security, we deserve neither freedoms nor security. Oh dear. This is debatable, but yes, we know what more security and surveillance cost to this country under President Saul. Let's not forget that President Saul, God bless him, brought stability after a long period of bloodshed and chaos. But moving on. Our highest internal threat comes from the estimated 20,000 strong Blutish Freedom Front led by the imprisoned Delin Arge. They are a banned political organization, now a militant force that is trying to incite racial violence. Are they cooperating with any Blutish political organizations? Are they supported by our Blutish citizens? Or they make a lot of noise but have little substance? A barking dog doesn't bite. That's not true. Sometimes they bite. I could see if they're cooperating with any Blutish political organizations so we can try and shut them down, right? There's that Discord link in chat as well. Thank you, Wickles. Yes. Great people, good times. Sorry, that should be our slogan there. If you think of the real world, what country would Sordland be? It's a combination of a few, I think. 6X Sword. God bless him, for a living man is a choice. Yeah, that's certainly a decision to say those words. Yeah, are they cooperating with any Blutish political organizations? If we can find a connection, we can shut down more of our political opposition, I think. Many suspected links exist between the Blutish Freedom Front and the Workers' Party of Blutia, but we don't have concrete proof yet. Lily has pointed to page 3 in the report. Our intelligence intercepted 2 crates filled with weapons close to the Rumburg border. They were filled with military-grade Ka-74s. We expect that more have been smuggled in since a group of Bloods were caught with these guns at a checkpoint not far away. Rumburg has been acting aggressively in the region for a long time. I'm not surprised that they would attempt to weaponize the Blutish people against us. This is worrying. Very worrying. Can we make any direct correlations to blame Rumburg? It was expected that Rumburg would undermine us, but this is too far. We need to keep level-headed with Rumburg. They're looking for reasons to take action, or we cannot let anyone meddle with our internal stability. I'm kind of leaning towards 4. It's like between 1 and 4 over here for me, I'm thinking. A combination of which countries do you reckon? I've spent a lot of time thinking about this. It's tough. It's tough. It's like, it's tough because, like, depending on the topic of conversation, there's a lot of countries where sectarian violence is a thing. Communal violence was a thing. Communal violence was a thing. It depends on the decisions you make as well, right? There's a lot of countries in the real world whose strategic location made them interesting for both superpowers. In the era, in the real world 50s, you're probably looking at like a Middle Eastern or like a Middle Eastern reference, or like India, or something like that is probably where I'd be leaning. Like a mix of a combination of those regions, basically. Yeah, but let's leave that to the extent of political references, to real world political references, unless we want to talk about history, I guess. But it's a dangerous topic to wade into. Yeah, exactly. It's like it's somewhere in that strip from like Anatolia to South Asia. It's like a blend of there in like the 50s, in that era, right? It is probably the intent. I don't know. Maybe not. Who knows? For real though, who knows? But what I will say is that it feels realistic. So I imagine they've referenced like historical incidents and stuff like that, right? Well, we can almost certainly tell they have. We cannot let anyone meddle with our internal stability. Our security services are doing their best to prevent further attempts. This is grave news, but we must be careful not to stoke the fires of anti-blue sentiment. What is the second most important threat? It is the gang violence that is threatening the Nargis and Agenland regions. Two prominent organized crime families are at war, and the potential for bloodshed is real. You know what I just realized? In our previous playthrough, this never came up. Like, this came up, the mention of gang violence, but we never did anything about it, right? I don't recall doing anything about it. Why can't you just arrest them? I don't think mere gangs can pose a threat to us. No, why can't you just arrest them? The primary reason is deception and corruption. They infiltrated several government offices and the police. That's how they can evade us. They're playing with fire. I want them gone for good. I trust you can handle this, Lilius, or they're insignificant, not worth our attention. No. People are dying, right? Can't allow that. They're playing with fire. I want them gone for good. While I agree it would make Sordland a better place, it will not be easy. These gangs exist because corruption is so common in our country. They buy our police officers and slip by checkpoints. Lilius Graff sighed deeply. I shall be honest with you. With our current capabilities, we may not be able to prevent the further arming of separatists while maintaining order in Bergia, Nargis, and Agenland. If the law enforcement budget isn't increased, I can't be fully responsible for what happens. Our police units are spread thin as it is. Okay. Okay, so in light of this information, I might increase the law enforcement budget. What I'm thinking is we'll probably put money towards the military, because that was our promise. The military and towards law enforcement, right? Make sure the people fall in line. So either that, or I could be a little mean to Lilius here and just be like, hey, listen, don't come to me with excuses. Do your job. I think we should go with one here. Perfect timing, Dragonfate. We need to be smart despots. If we want a chance at succeeding, we need to be smart despots. Despots? You know what I mean. They're just for the story of Caronte having links to organized crime? Oh, is it? Okay. I thought there might be actual, like, more incidents that come of it if you focus on it. Taking a look at chat here real quick. Yeah, no, I'm on board with the same thing that you're saying there, Natalie. It's an interesting thing to think about and stuff, but I'm always open to these conversations as long as everyone keeps a level head. is the fact of the matter, really. That second half is where where uncertainty dwells. Yeah, in light of this information, I might increase the law enforcement budget. It's not a promise, but just don't be a deposed despot. That's true. In light of this information, okay, I might increase the law enforcement budget. We'll rid our country from separatists and violent thugs if you do so. I wish you would stop using the word thugs, Lilius. The real problem is corruption, which is fueling the gang violence and is very likely the reason why these weapons were smuggled in. A higher budget could help us end that. Look, the problem with corruption is that it's with the wrong people. That's the problem with corruption. Valid points. Corruption is the root of all evil after all. That's not true. Your ministry must tackle the issue with persistence. These threats seem more direct than a few bribes. Yeah, we gotta downplay how bad bribes actually are, right? They are. And they need all the attention they can get from our administration. Lilius and Nia were openly scowling at each other. Lilius turned back to her notes. Well, this concludes the topics for the internal portion. Thank you for the updates, Mrs. Graff, Mrs. Morgan. Let's move on. Andre J, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show, buddy. Again, if you are, you know what to do. There's an Iron Fist despot, and there's an I know what I'm doing despot. True. There's gradients. There's gradients of despot. Every successful despot needs a strong secret police that is sometimes not so secret. Yeah. Also true. Have a good day. Until next time. The two ministers left the room. We took a short break before continuing to the second part. Upon invitation, Yosef Lansea, along with 3 high-ranking officials from the Ministry of Defense, walked into the room. One of the men was none other than General Kruger, the chief of the armed forces. Yosef made his way towards the table, while the others stood by the door. Mr. President. Yosef, welcome. I brought General Kruger with me due to the escalations on our borders. General Kruger stepped forward and saluted. He had a strong jaw with sharp cheekbones. His tall stature, uniform, and medals, combined with his deep and intense stare, made him look threatening. He was in his 70s, yet he had a bulky body that was a result of his commando training. Not only was he the second most decorated officer in Sordland, he was also the longest serving. Jazzy B, what does that stand for? Salute him, of course. He smiled at the gesture and bowed his head in respect. I always say bowed for some reason. Bowed his head in respect. Yosef tapped his foot impatiently. He seemed uneasy with the presence of another high-ranking officer in the room. Egos here. Gentlemen, thanks for coming to this significant gathering. Let's begin. Yosef and Vulcan took their seats at the table, while the rest of the officers stood by the door. Mr. President, the situation at the western and northern borders towards Rumburg is very tense. We are observing deployments of divisions closer to our borders. Rumburg has been acting increasingly expansionist in the past decades and also interfered in Agnolia, but now they have turned their sights on us. What is your current strategy? Patrolling close to the borders with our border force and keeping Army Reserve divisions near. It seems like they want to increase the pressure both externally and internally. Mr. President, if I may. Please, General. The picture is becoming clearer. The latest information from the interior about the weapons caches, and now there is an active military buildup close to our borders. The entire situation was analyzed by our General Staff, and our prediction is a future territorial incursion by Rumburg. Let them come, we'll give them hell. TSSP, the super secret police. Torn here. Either we... Oh, geez. All 3 of these actually kind of make sense. To, like, exert our authority. I have trust in the General Staff. You know, like, we're fine as we are. The threat is exaggerated. Whatever. Rumburg doesn't matter. Or let them come, we'll give them hell. Which I think speaks for itself, right? And it's, yeah, we're cruel, not stupid. No, for sure. I'm just trying to figure out... Because a lot of this is posturing as well, right? Like, I'm not literally saying, yeah, invite them in and we can gun them down. I'm expressing faith in our armed forces. And I expect somebody will be like, no, don't be stupid. Yeah, I think it's like between 1 or 3 here. I've complete trust in the General Staff. 3 uses we as you in military. Yeah, I guess it's true. But this is also like, it's just I and the General Staff. It's still talking about all of us. Let's go ahead and say, never pick a fight you can't finish. Well, that's my concern with Rumburg. They are more powerful than us, significantly so. So I don't think we should let them come. I'm pretty sure if we say this, both of these guys will be like, no, we're not really able to take them on. but I have complete trust in the general staff. I think is a bit more reasonable thing to say. Oh, Fizz George, no. Not that type of secret police, but the other type of secret police. Not the type of secret police that's going to investigate our own handling of circumstances or situations. We will not let you down, Mr. President. The general staff is composed of the smartest military individuals. I require an increase in the military budget to enlist more soldiers. Only then we can stand strong against our enemies. The enlarged armed forces will hold them at bay. Vulcan is right. We do need an increase in the military budget, although we don't see eye to eye on exactly how to spend the budget. That much we agree on. I have my concerns about Rumburg too. We need strong allies to withstand such a superior power. They are our nemesis. That is an understatement. Times are changing and war is coming, Mr. President. Whether we like it or not, we must be prepared. Welcome back, Marcus. Glad you can make it, buddy. Gonna catch the final act of today's session. Do not forget that during the election, you promised to focus on the military. I expect that word to be kept for the defense of our nation. Yes, of course. I'm a man of my word. Of course you are. And that is why I follow you, Mr. President. The only way we can guarantee the national survival is through a more capable military force against Rumburg. Our country hasn't fallen to any invading force for 200 years. You cannot let it happen, Mr. President. We should find regional allies like Volksland or Lesbia to deter Rumburg. There are several options on the table. Sordland must stand on its own 2 feet and be able to defend itself again. Let's not be foolish here, right? These options, I think, should be considered. If we can ally with Lesbia, between Volksland and Lesbia is more aligned to us, from a political, economic perspective. There's no convenient way to say, you can say socioeconomically, you can say sociopolitically. What about political, economic, there's no, term for that, is there? Sociopolitical, socioeconomic. Yeah, eco-political. Yeah, I guess there isn't. Eugene Sujan, thank you very much for subscribing. Again, buddy, hope you're enjoying the show. If you are, you know what to do. And indeed, yes, these options should be considered. Let us not be fools. They could be considered. Why pander to others when we can solve these issues ourselves? You're being stupid, Joseph. We have no true friends outside these borders. You're being stupid, Vulcan. Everyone fell silent when a soldier entered the room and let Joseph Lancea know that a call had come through from the ministry. Excuse me, Mr. President. Joseph left the room to answer. A few minutes later, he entered the room again. His expression had changed. Mr. President, there has been Rumburgian military activity close to the Narbel border. I just spoke with the local commander. Vulcan, we should go to the ministry and get further updates from our branches. Understood. Raising military readiness is the first call of action. If there is truly an extraordinary attempt, we will relay it to you immediately and wait for further orders, Mr. President. Make sure they know we are observant and ready. Go and show them the might of the Sordish armed forces. Your service is appreciated, or remain calm. Make sure not to escalate things further. Nobody wants a war. See, we're not... Are we jingoistic? Are we warmongers? Because, again, we might be warmongers against weaker nations, but despots don't stay in power by declaring war on countries that are stronger than them. They act like they could. They pretend that they could. They showboat, but internally, during a meeting of the cabinet or of ministers, you play it down, right? You don't want that war. David B, I see you've added a little nickname in there, Garrus916. Playing some Mass Effect, or what's up? How's it going, buddy? Glad you can make it. Hope you've had a wonderful Friday so far. And Snake, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show. Again, if you are, you know what to do. All my homies hate Rumburg. Do I want a war? I don't know if I do want a war. I think we should remain... I want the threat of war. Much like... It's kind of funny, I'm thinking about Victoria 3 right now. We don't want war. We want the threat of war. Sergio LP, how's it going, buddy? Welcome back. Like Kimmy J, MindBro90. I guess. Well, like any like militaristic leader of a not superpower, you know, of the not strong entity in the region. We might have war. We might eventually have war, but let's not get that war starting right now. We need to invest in our military first before that war begins, right? Remain calm. Make sure not to escalate things further. Nobody wants a war, with Runeberg specifically. Yet. We will exercise utmost caution, Mr. President. Hail, Sordland. Hail. They saluted and left the room. Runeberg was already testing us, and the reports from the interior indicate interference inside our borders. Communists, nationalists, Bludish rebels, Runeberg expansionism. What was next? Sordland had always been a key piece in the chessboard of the global rivalry between Arcasia and United Contana, but in the recent years, there was no such aggression from Runeberg. Not at these levels, at least. All it takes is one tiny spark to start the flames of war. The phone rang. Runeberg had decided to close their consulate in Lackhaven. Wow, I forgot how early it all starts. Damn. McLean Craft, how's it going, buddy? Not much is up, just ruin the world. The usual. How's it going? Having a good Friday, I hope? Kai, you have to be confident to your people, so be calm but observant. Yes, I agree. I don't think what we said there was lacking in confidence. I think not wanting a war is reasonable. See, think of it this way, right? If we go to war, good, swordish husbands, fathers, and sons will die. Good, swordish people will die if we go to war. The world will have fewer swords, and it'll be worse for it, right? Beat that like button like we beat our son. Oh, dear Lord Wickles. We chose this response before and they walk all over us. Well, it's partly because we choose a lot of other responses down the line as well. One response does not make an entire thread in this game, so I don't think they'll be doing much walking this time around, hopefully. But I will say I completely forgot how early the consulate closes in the game. It's like right off the bat. It's like one of the first things that happens. Damn. How long is the stream going to go for? It's a 2-hour stream, so we have about another 20 or 30 or so minutes to go. So let's dive on in. Man, there's a lot of news articles at the beginning of the game as well. A lot of them. Rumors of an infrastructure project. Anonymous sources have reported to Sordland today that several government officials have invited construction companies to meetings regarding a new major infrastructure project. If true, this is great news, as infrastructure in Sordland is lacking heavily needed investment. We hope the very qualified and experienced companies like Underhall Construction win the bid. Of course you do. Lackhaven Times has this to say. Gang violence claims young girl's life. A 15-year-old girl was shot to death in Narble as she walked her dog a few blocks away from her apartment. The police said the shooting, which occurred in an area affiliated with the gang Coronelli, was a reckless act of violence, and the victim was not the target. The 15-year-old was shot at about 4:45 p.m., right before she was returning home. A man who witnessed the event told police the shooters yelled gang slogans at him on the street before he heard someone fire at least 10 shots, sources said. He later saw that the victim had been hit and called authorities. Our sources report that the local police force of the region is understaffed and overworked, which adds to the current bleak situation. It's a good thing we're going to try and take care of that, right? Is the dog okay? Asking the important question, 6X Lord. Oh, for sure, Charles Martel. I think they are actually working on... They've mentioned in the past they're working on many things, big and small, so I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to expand the lore of the universe and making more games in the universe too. The real truth behind economic crisis. We've all seen this scenario play before. Large corporate businesses, time and time again, receive money from the government under the disguise of helping the economy. But what about the people? Many in the neglected regions still do not have electricity or fresh water in their homes, and they are the lucky ones. There's a growing housing crisis, and people are on the streets begging for food. In the year of 1954, it is high time the money is invested in us, the people of Sordland, instead of armchair millionaires in their luxurious villas. 1927, never again. I was there when General Lutheran and Rickard clashed in the plains outside of Hallsword, when the armies of Swordish people killed each other. I was there when Colonel Saul won the war after bombarding cities with Swordish civilians inside them. We saw this great nation fall into bloodshed and chaos. We thought that we learned our lesson and formed a new republic, but one man's idea became the idea of the state, and we allowed it to be forced upon us. We were a generation who lived with Tarkin Saul for most of their lives. However, this generation is different. Our kids have not experienced civil war or martial law. We can change that. This generation is born in a changing time. We cannot allow the same conditions to return. We cannot forget when General Lutheran declared martial law in 1927, when his tanks rolled and murders took place. Those tanks cannot roll again. Bombs cannot fall again. Freedoms cannot be suspended again. 1927. Never again. You know, the Radical has always felt like less of a newspaper and more of just like a bunch of opinion columns stitched together. I don't know if despots care about the lives of soldiers. I don't think we see them as... See, like, if there is war, then every soul must be spent. But if there is not war, then we should safeguard the families, right? We should keep safe the people of Sordland. Though I see what you're saying. A lot of despots will just be like, whatever, the people are just pawns to be used to further my gains. I guess we could be that kind of a despot. I always just see it as like a we still care about our country and the people of it. It's a tough thing. I gotta figure that out. Too soon by the Radical? They're always too quick for everything. Jumping to conclusions and not saying anything of any real value. 6X Lord, can I say really quickly, I really appreciate that you have the game volume high enough for us to hear. Somebody put it way down. That's good to know. And I'm glad to hear that feedback as well. I always try to find that sweet balance because the music in this game also is so great. But I want to make sure that people can actually hear what the game is doing as well. But that's good feedback for me as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. Underhall Construction, once again, number 1. Underhall Construction was once again picked as the #1 construction company of the year by the reputable Statistics Sordland. Anything that must call itself reputable isn't truly reputable. This was the 11th time the company was selected for the top spot in a row since Chris Scarr was appointed as a CEO. Veteran industry leader Scarr congratulated the employees first and foremost in a private company meeting held in a luxurious resort in Erlery. He also mentioned the recent addition of Heart of Sordland organization CEO Marcel Caranti to the board of advisors helped immensely in this great achievement. Oh, I see. At The Economist, we think now is a great time to invest in underhall construction, as the current year's projections already show a 13% increase in growth compared to last year. Good stuff. Geopolitical. Roomburg closes consulate. Roomburg has closed down its consulate in Sordland, one of the few Eastern Mercopan nations to have diplomatic ties with the Northern Kingdom. This comes right after the deployment of Roomburgian troops near the northern borders of Sordland. Roomburgian officials cite political unrest and uncertainty as the main reason for the closure, while raising concerns over security in the country. In Lackhaven, a diplomatic source said the Roomburgian flag has been lowered overnight, and that the embassy staff were expected to leave Sordland on Friday or Saturday. Many Lackhaveners were shocked as the 120-year-old Roomburg consulate closed. Dozens of citizens with Roomburgian relatives went out to protest against this action in the afternoon. It was not clear if the embassy closure was temporary or permanent, signaling a break in diplomatic ties which date from 1923. Our editors see the situation as a further deterioration of relations between Sordland and Roomburg. This can easily be regarded as a one-sided provocation from the north. Absolutely. Closing an embassy, closing a consulate, those are moves you make as you're preparing for war. It's the dark signs. Dark signs. So basically, the Radical is a typical left-leaning, quote-unquote, newspaper expressing opinion. I don't know. I don't know which way they lean. They get strange later on. But they definitely feel more like they just publish opinions. Which there's another paper that does the same thing as well. I forget if it was the Hallsworth Post or Sordland Today. But yeah, you get a lot of opinion articles. But the Radical certainly seems to have more of them than not. They often will have decent reporting, but sometimes they'll just be like an opinion piece. And it's like, you can't report that as news. El Presidente mode, oh dear. Personally think that caring for the people is party's kind personality shining through, which makes it hard for him to be truly cruel/cold. I mean, how cruel... Oh, sorry, I hope that didn't knock the mic. How cruel do we want to be? It's something I often wonder. So, weird real-world example, I guess. Not of a despot, per se. But, consider... I can't believe I'm using this example. Consider Escobar. Again, like I said, not a political person. Well, that's a... Let's not get into the, like, nitty-gritty there. But he took care of people to gain popularity, right? There's a lot of people like that who will, when possible, project kindness to be popular. But again, when push comes to shove, they're all meat shields. You know, if war with Runeberg comes, I won't hesitate to send scores of swordish, people to die in the defense of our glorious nation. However, I don't necessarily want to be the one that gets them killed. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Maybe I should be crueler. No, this is not a bunny bonding story, no. However, I do find it interesting still how to bond bunnies. United Montana embassy helped protesters. Well, I guess it's a good thing that their consulate closed. Will they close their embassy too? Around midnight, Red Youth protesters clashed with the Young Swords. Oh no, this is United Montana, sorry, not Runeberg. Around midnight, Red Youth protesters clashed with the Young Swords at the Vesord city center, resulting in many injuries. The counter-protesters were cornered in front of the United Montana embassy after they were pushed back by the police. The embassy opened its doors and Red Youth members escaped inside. The police are still waiting outside the building for the return of Red Youth members. Again, just interfering with our internal politics here. Constantly. Imagine beating Runeberg and making them a vassal of Sordland. I don't know how likely that is. We can certainly try. Again, they're not going to stop their displays of aggression, and at one point the switch flips and we go at them, right? Logan Quincy, thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you're enjoying the show. Again, if you are, you know what to do. And yes, Kai, so the way to get two rabbits to bond, like if you have a pet rabbit and you get another pet rabbit and you want them to get along, a good way to do that is to like put them in a nationwide revolt. Sorry, diplomacy, diplomatic pressure from Runeberg. Fair enough. Is to like take them for a car ride together. Like you put them in a small hutch or something, or a basket or something. And you take them in a car ride, because the car ride is a traumatic experience, and they bond over a traumatic experience, which sounds horrifying, but it's a way to get them to get along. Is much like with humans, when you go through a traumatic experience together, you build a bond, and that is a way of doing it. That is an actual way of doing it. There was a quote from a general a long time ago that said something like, "What are the lives of soldiers more than of so many chickens before an unneeded assault?" So some don't care. That's true. Some definitely don't care. Yeah. Some definitely don't care. Crueler is cooler. All right, fair enough. If we're a smart despot, we won't need to declare martial law. People will love us and want us to stay in control. I mean, ideally. I don't even know if that's a possibility in this game, but ideally. I did not know that about snakes, Dragonfey. Learn something new every day, huh? Okay, what's going on with Arcasia developing the first ICBM? Interesting. Intelligence reports that Arcasia has successfully completed the Missile 4, an intercontinental ballistic missile which has the estimated capability to accurately destroy targets at thousands of kilometers range. Arcasian missile capabilities have significantly increased, posing a threat to territories that are further away from Western Maricopa. Alright. React to the unrest. A decision to address the instability in the nation. The political situation around the country has escalated. Chief strategist Lucien Galade has prepared several action plans that we can execute. What will we do to address the intensifying political climate? Call for restraint, visit affected towns in person, label all protesters as traitors, expand the police by deploying all recruits in training. I feel like that is the most fitting option over here. Get more police boots on the ground, as it were, and shut down all this strife through force. That's what I'm thinking. Make rabbits bond, put them in a nationwide revolt. Yeah, basically. Be the despot of the people. No, I'm trying to be crueler. Label all protesters as traitors. Well, the thing is, I feel like that would incriminate the Young Swords as well, right? And we want to get along with the Young Swords. You see, now we're all talking about being a man of the people. It's a pretending to care thing you were talking about? Yeah. Because we do still want people to like us, right? Like it was said earlier, we shouldn't have to declare martial law. They should just want us to be in charge. Expand is the worst choice. That's kind of what's drawing me to it. Pretending to care is long-term gains. Be mean and nice when needed. Young Swords, Rain's Youth. Yeah, we should rename them. Let's try this. Last time also we visited the affected towns in person, and it was a relatively positive experience, but I feel like the police can take care of this. Expand the police by deploying all recruits in training. Guaranteed some of them die, and something goes wrong. Recruits in training, something goes horribly wrong here for sure. Oh dear. News articles already. President Rain deploys more police. President Anton Rain announced to have sped up the deployment of the police force and boosted recruitment upon the protests and riots that popped up around the country, which was triggered by the death of Circus. According to the Chief of Police Greaser, police ranks across Sordland will soon be bolstered with an additional 3,000 officers who are under training but are now to be deployed immediately. He also added that the recruitment target for the next year may also be increased, along with some expansion of the capacities of the police academies. Well, that's good. That's promising. That's fine. Rain adds fuel to the fire. The government is increasing the number of active police forces in the cities in light of the current events that span the entirety of Sordland. Earlier today, President Rain announced a boost to the recruitment drive and an immediate deployment of trainees from the Swordish police academies, deciding to use force to quell the protests instead of listening to reason. This was, of course, an expected reaction from an USP president, who not only has insecurities about Sordland, but also of his party and his own wisdom. Jesus. Holy crap. In these days of pain and suffering, we advise everybody to show restraint, peacefully protest, and be hopeful despite the negative developments. The government might have forgotten about us, but we still have our idea of a peaceful community and a life to live ahead of us. Whether it's another president or a colonel, don't let them divide you. Hang on there, buddy. Listen, these guys are being violent. These guys are destroying property. They need to be arrested, thrown in a cell, taught a lesson. End of the day at the Maroon Palace. Dive on in. PB. Gubkirk, how's it going, buddy? Message retracted, I see. Well, hello nonetheless. Hope you're having a good day. Oh, yeah. Police recruits are probably going to mess up for sure. I don't think they're the ones who are going to be doing the dying, though, Evilo. I'm very curious to see how that plays out. Expand like you're at the Thanksgiving table. Jeez. I don't think they'll be using tasers either. Rain down fury on those traitors. Hell yeah. It was late in the evening. The Maroon Palace was finally getting somewhat quiet when I returned to my office at the top. I eagerly approached my chair and sprawled out on it. It had been an exhausting day, just like every day since I took office. A cigarette? We smoke cigars in this house. Pour some whiskey. I poured a little whiskey for myself and had a sip. It felt like the best salve after a long day of work. I glanced downwards out the window and saw Serge and the guards waiting for me by the main gate. I heard a couple of knocks on the door. My secretary, Livia Suno, entered. Mr. President, Mr. Tusk is here to see you. You had a meeting with the Lotharbrook spokesman. I'm so sorry for not giving you proper notice. Do your job properly next time? Do you expect me to keep track of everything myself? I feel like that is on her. Like, the hell, you're my secretary. You have one job. You're supposed to be assisting me. Oh, we'll get to it, Carol. We'll be banning all sorts of newspapers, all in due time. Do your job properly next time. Do you expect me to keep a track of everything myself? Come on, Livia. You get paid for a reason here. You're right, Mr. President. I probably made a mistake with my notes. It'll never happen again. Damn right. But he's already here, Mr. President. What do you want me to tell him? After a moment, Mr. Tusk swaggered into the room. I'd met Sordland's most prominent businessman once or twice, but never alone. He had large jowls, blindingly shiny shoes, and the air of someone who was used to getting his way. Anything to drink, Mr. Tusk? Water? Whiskey? Cognac. Preferably from before you were born, sweetheart. I'll check the supply room. Livia backed out of the office, shooting me an apologetic look as she did so. Walter hung up his hat, which I could see was lined with mink. He fixed me with a long, hard stare, then broke into a toothy grin. PEB, hey buddy, just slightly unrelated, but first of all, thank you. You inspire me and probably so many others with your Planet Zoo stuff. Well, thank you very much for the kind words. I appreciate that. Second, love these streams. It's such an amazing game. Well, thank you as well. I appreciate those kind of words as well. Not unrelated at all. I appreciate it. Thank you. And thanks for coming through. And agreed, this game is absolutely amazing. It's such a brilliant game. Glad to see so many people enjoying it. Tusk about to make it rain on rain? Nah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes, I guess he is. I thought you meant like, rain on a parade kind of rain. No. You mean the good kind of rain. Hell yeah. Let's do it. Let's have a conversation here. Good evening, Mr. President. I'm here to congratulate you. We both sat down. My business partners and I wish you a successful term as leader of our nation. Thank you, Mr. Tusk. I had no chance to say this at the ball with all the panic, but we are very much looking forward to working with you. Likewise. I'd like to build a profitable relationship between us. That being said, there are some concerns of mine and the people I represent, which I would like to take this opportunity to clear up. What are these concerns? The ruined state of the economy in Sordland has influenced everyone. The recession hit all of us hard. Walter pulled out a box of cigars from his jacket. I had these brought from Lesbia, the best cigars in the whole continent. Would you like to try one? Absolutely. I grabbed one out of the pack. Walter lit it up with his large engraved lighter. Now we're talking. A man who knows pleasure and business. Walter grabbed himself a cigar and lit it up as well. We looked out at the city scenery as we both puffed away. I heard that you purchased stock from Armadan Industries in Arcasia. Smart buy. They're developing new gadgets that are going to be profitable. Oh my god, I say this all the time. Spend money to make money. I say it all the time, damn. Spend money to make money, they say. Let's see if it holds true. Tegan Emma finally made a stream. After watching so many VODs, it feels amazing to finally be here. Well, I'm glad you can make it. Hello. Hope you're having a good Friday, and thanks for dropping by. I always try to find it's hard to find a convenient time for time zones across the world, but definitely glad you can make it. I gotta do a poll or something about timings. Wood matches for cigars, or you get a cigar lighter. You get lighters specifically for cigars as well that don't taint the cigar with the smell of the gas, the fuel or anything. Spend money to make money, they say. Let's see if it holds true. You will be surprised at what one can achieve given the resources in capitalism. I will buy a couple of thousands of shares too to expand my portfolio. Hope the investment pays off for both of us, President. His eyes wandered away for a moment. You're having a good start to the term for sure, besides the recent troubles. Glad that you have decided to promote the free market, which is the only thing that can get us out of this mess. I took favorably to my advice. Good that we think alike. Ability of the free market to evolve is hard to dispute. We had nothing but trouble so far. Yeah, it's good that we think alike on the matter. I think we can get along just fine. To a closer relationship, then. One that will bring Sordland out of a crippling recession. He grinned. The high-speed rail investment was a great decision. The business logistics will improve and boost the economy once finished. The intention was to boost the economy. Our goal was to focus on the needs of the businesses. The greater Hallsword and Gelsword region needed better links, or I don't want to disclose our intentions to an outsider. I wonder how much of an open book I should be with him. You like Walter? He's a cultivated man. He is. He's a very, very well-cultured individual. Yeah, he knows how to handle himself, you know? How to deal with important topics of conversation. Our goal was to focus on the needs of the businesses. Or, you know what? No, the intention of the administration is to boost the economy. You think 4? I'm torn, right? It's like, yeah, do I want to give him too much information and then he might use it against me, right? We gotta be divulging, but not too much. You know what? You're right. He doesn't need to know. I don't want to disclose our intentions to an outsider. We should. So I think we've buttered him up enough already, Muhammad, and I think now we can kind of be like, it's not the carrot and the stick per se, but it's like we're close, but we're not that close. What do you have for me first? I don't want to disclose our intentions to an outsider. That is a fair point. Why distance yourself from potential friends here? We can be close allies. The group can help you get Sordland out of the recession, which will be the key problem to solve in your term and could even determine your re-election. Let's start with a gesture of goodwill. Soon the investment project contract will be awarded to one of the 3 main contenders. He pulled a check out of his pocket and slid it towards me on the table. My personal bank details were listed on it, with a deposit of 500,000 Sordish Ren ready to be transferred. This was 6 months of a president's salary. If the contract is somehow awarded to Underhall Construction, they would not only work hard and deliver, but also do it on time. What do you think, Mr. Rain? Wouldn't that be good? Call me Mr. President, goddammit. I mean, Underhall Construction is a good pick anyway, so it's not unfair to make a slight profit for ourselves while we're doing what we're going to do anyway, right? That's not technically a bribe, right? It was our decision anyway. He put his index finger on the check. There was a noise by the door. Livia Suna was standing there, holding a tray with a bottle and 2 glasses. I'm so sorry, Mr. Tusk, but all I could find was a 1942 Sauvigny. I hope that's acceptable. She quickly put the tray on my desk and walked out. Tusk eyed her as she left. Remind me to visit your office more often. Now, where were we? Do we have a deal? Classified, coming through with a super chat. It's raining bribes. Hallelujah. Oh, dear. I immediately now have that song in my head. Thank you very much, Classified, for the super chat. As always, you know, it really helps the channel out, really helps keeps these streams sustainable, keeps the channel alive, running smoothly, as I like to say. It's raining bribes. Hallelujah. Oh, dear, no. I just have that song with, like, changed lyrics playing in my head now. Thank you very much, buddy. Appreciate it greatly. Oh, man. Bleed him dry? Yeah, we could try. Execute him. No. He's a good source of money. He's a good source of money. Oh, not yet. We both know you can do better than that amount. Oh, interesting. Interesting. All the money will go to a good cause. Don't worry. If you take it, he'll own you forever? No. He's asking for a favor. We can still also just not do the favor, right? We've made a promise, but we can totally, like, not do it. I'm thinking, I might want to apply some pressure here. Saronska, glad you can make it. Finally have a weekday off to watch Party of the Elite variety. Well, I'm glad you can make it. Hope you're having a good day. Not yet. We both know you can do better than that amount. You're right about that. I'll make this my final offer. He pulled out another check with a smile. This time, 1 million Sordish Ren was listed on the piece of paper. Now we're talking. Oh, here's my final offer. Do not try to bribe me again, or you'll have to make your deals in a prison cell. Nice. No, I think that's pretty good. I think we should go with this one. Ask for even more? Nah, I don't think. You got to be reasonable, right? You got to be reasonable. I think we go for it. I also find it absolutely hilarious. Like, we talked about, like, taking bribes, being a despot, and all that kind of stuff. And then now that the time has actually come, quite a few of you are actually just like, no, don't take the bribe. It's like, no, we're going to take the bribe, man. We're going to take the money. We're going to take that money. Yeah, we shouldn't push it. We shouldn't push it too hard. We should take this. We've milked the cow enough. That's a good way to put it. A small bribe of 1 million Sordish Ren. If you push it too hard, then he'll be like, all right, well, this is all I have to offer, so goodbye. I can't ask for more. Exactly. Then he'll get angry. Exactly. No. This is a good offer. 1 million Ren? That's not bad at all. Yeah, I accept the offer. He grinned and let out a laugh. The check was right between his hands. He pulled his hands back, and I took the check. This deal also aligns with the free market strategy your government has adopted besides boosting further investment. Our goal is to unite every stakeholder to improve the economy. The administration will maintain a good relationship with the group. I'm very happy we came to an agreement today. Yeah, it's all politics. Our goal is to unite every stakeholder to improve the economy. Don't make it cheaper to kill you than to bribe you. I like that, Classified. Very well put. Don't make it cheaper to kill you than to bribe you. Absolutely. It's all about the politics. It's about improving the economy. Exactly. The business owners need to unite and support the growth. Thanks to your efforts, we can see it happen. We'll be keeping in touch. Walter stood up, grabbed his jacket, and shook my hand before making his way towards the door. He smiled before closing the door and leaving. I gathered my things and prepared to finally head home. As I walked out, I noticed Livia's still there, covering up her typewriter for the evening. If I may be so bold, Mr. President, did you accept his offer? That is absolutely none of your business. I could just say, of course I didn't. How could you even ask me that? Natalie P. coming through with that super chat. It's raining Ren. Hallelujah. Oh man, that actually, oh goddamn, that works. Oh no. No, it's extra stuck in my head. But thank you very much, Natalie, for the super chat again. And as always, it really helps the channel, really helps these streams. So I appreciate it greatly. And I've got a great classic stuck in my head too, thanks to the two of you. So thank you very much. God damn. Olivia's getting a bit nosy. Yeah, she is, isn't she? Who would believe a secretary anyway? True, but no. She doesn't need to know. We don't take bribes. Exactly, we don't take bribes. Of course I didn't. How could you even ask me that? The other girls have told me about all kinds of dealings that went on during the Alfonso administration. I wasn't sure if you were that kind of president. Don't worry your pretty head about it. She and I took a moment to look out over the lights of the city before heading to the elevators. That went up by 2, right? Because I think we had 3. We spent 1. I was trying to keep an eye on it, and then I completely stopped keeping an eye on it when the change happened. Damn. Did anybody catch it? Did it go up by 2? Because that gives us an idea of what 1 personal wealth means, right? Which means plus 2 to wealth. Yeah, okay. So that means we have 2 million Swordish Ren then, right? Because if 2 represents 1 million, we have 2 million Swordish Ren to our name. Damn, that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all. What do we have going on over here? Order, enlarged police force, inexperienced police recruits. Well, they'll gain their experience on the field, won't they? And I accepted a bribe from I expected a donation from the Oligarchs to give the construction contract to Underhall Construction. I don't think we'll be forgetting that anytime soon. Don't need to put that down in my notes. But that was the end of the day at the office. And folks, that'll be the end of the day at the stream. Oh, we can definitely make her disappear, Halthor. We're definitely going to make her disappear. Clink Y, thank you very much for subscribing. Bringing in the tail end of today's stream. Appreciate it greatly. I hope you've been enjoying the show. Folks, if you have enjoyed the show, please don't hesitate to let me know on your way out. Hit that like button. Again, whether you're watching live or you're watching the VOD, it just lets me know what people want to watch on the channel, what they don't want to watch, what I should change, what I should speed up, slow down, etc., etc. So don't hesitate to let me know. Good session today. Lots of progress. We went from the assassination of a loathed political figure, as far as we're concerned, to determining the economic future of some of our investments. Hopefully, this all works out well for us. Taking that bribe was pretty good. It's pretty good. Plus 2 personal wealth. That is not bad. I'm looking forward to how all this develops. Again, I hope you all had a good time. If you did, you know what to do. Let me know. A big thanks as well, of course, to our super chatters today. As always, it really helps the channel. Just keeps things going. Makes it all sustainable and viable. And of course, on that note, a massive thanks to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Again, y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks to each and every one of you for watching. Again, whether it's live or it's the VOD, you know, none of this would be if it wasn't for each and every one of you. And yeah, sorry, Fridays we go a little bit on the shorter side. We do a 2-hour stream, so I apologize for that. But we will be back on Monday with Crusader Kings 3 starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. On Tuesday with Phantom Brigade starting at 10 a.m. Eastern. On Friday with Suzerain again, continuing our story over here. But next week we might have a surprise stream planned as well. So keep your eyes out for that. I will be putting out updates both in the Discord and on Twitter. Links to both of those are in the description down below, and links to the Discord in chat as well. Folks, if you aren't already in the Discord, don't hesitate to join on in. Fantastic place to hang out. Good place to be. Great place to chill. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your Friday, folks. Hope you had a good time today. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend ahead as well. I will catch you in the Discord. I intend to at least take some time here and there to relax this weekend, hopefully. I say that, but who knows? Who knows? But folks, whether I catch you in the Discord, in the comments, or in the next live stream, until I catch you, cheers.